What's up, everybody? With the NDA recently dropped on Elder Scrolls Online, I was going to do a quick video here showing you what it's like to make a new character. I'm still not allowed to show you much of the actual gameplay as in progression, but I can show you what it's like to make a new character and maybe talk about some of my impressions. As we go forward and as we get a little bit closer to release, hopefully some of these restrictions will get lifted to where I can really kind of dig deep in and show you what's going on with this game, because I think this is going to be quite popular when it hits. So, first and foremost, pretty much what you've got is, starting from the top here, you can select your race, your class, your body, and your face. Male or female, of course. But here's where things get interesting. Now, there's a couple of bits that are kind of important to explain. First off, by default, your race is locked to the alliance that you choose. So, for example, the Daggerfall Covenant would be the Bretons, the Orcs, and the Redguard, whereas the Eldmeri Dominion is High Elf, Wood Elf, and the Cat People. I'm not even going to try and say that. Cat People. And then, of course, the Ebonheart Pact would then be the Argonians, the Dark Elves, and the Nords. So, this is how it is intended to work. But there's a catch, you see, because if you pre-order the game, these restrictions are null and void, meaning you could be any race on any faction you want. A lot of people, a lot of drama, a lot of controversy about, oh my god, you know, they'd pay, you know, money grab, blah, blah, whatever, BS. You know what? If you're planning to play the game anyways, you're going to be pre-ordering the game, so it's just a nice, sweet bonus. It's not like anything else. The one thing that does kind of resonate is a little bit of a problem. You see this little symbol down here that you can't quite click? That's Imperial. Imperial is only available to you if you purchase the $80 version of the game as opposed to the $60 standard version of the game. That will give you a race which can go to any faction, supposed to have racial abilities, things like, you know, a mount and armor and other things. Honestly, for 20 bucks, it seems like a hell of a deal. But back when they announced it, man, the internet was going completely crazy over, how can they do that? It's a cash grab, the greedy bastards. Alright, well, you know what? First off, they're a company who makes games. They would like to make money off the games they make, and I don't blame them for that at all. Paywalling and whatever for content, hey, it happens. Maybe it'll become DLC. They even said before that if you buy the standard edition of the game, you can upgrade to the Imperial edition later on. So it's not like it's a one-time thing that you're going to miss out on. It's more or less just, god damn it, just shut up and pay the extra 20 bucks. Get everything that they're offering, and just consider that it's an $80 game, alright? Alright. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, especially because, and this is the biggest thing of all, this game also has a subscription, a monthly subscription of $15. Now, everybody's losing their minds because it's like, oh my god, you have to buy the game, and then you have to pay a subscription, and then they're going to have in-game cash shop stuff and whatever. You know what? I don't know. I would say reserve judgment until you've seen and or played the game. It has a lot going for it. It's not without flaws, it's not without problems. Basically, if you were a fan of Skyrim, in a sense, you're gonna like this. However, that even comes with a little bit of caveat, because if you were a fan of Skyrim for the massive world and exploration, you might be a little bit disappointed in Elder Scrolls Online, because it does kind of follow the whole MMO chain. You know, where you go zones, what you can do for your level. Where, well, it kind of worked that way in Skyrim too, but there's not as much depth of exploration and things to just random things to find in the world, because you're limited, you know, it's an MMO still. However, it's still very open in a sense where you can wander around. There's treasure chests to find and just lots of cool little hidden things. It's really rather impressive, and I really think a lot of people are going to like it. And I think a lot of people are going to hate it too. I mean, it's going to be very polarizing, I think, the way this game is going to work out in its future here. But you know what? I love MMOs. I like Elder Scrolls. I'm planning to play it. How I cover it for the channel is yet to be determined. I'm not sure, you know, doing a playthrough of this would be wise, because it's an MMO. It's huge. But maybe a lot of streaming. We'll see how that goes. All right, so with a lot of that out of the way, yes, you got to buy the game. Yes, you have to pay a subscription. Both of those things suck, but hey, you know, you get what you pay for sometimes, right? Alright, well with that, let's take a look at some of the character options. So, my intention is to go Daggerfall only because I want to go, you know, as the Bretons, which are kind of like the human race. But because they kind of announced this whole, you can be anybody you want, go anywhere you want, oh my god, they released Imperials, well, ultimately, I, along with just about everybody else who's going to be playing this game, is probably going to want to be Imperial. Unfortunately, I can't show you that. Not an option. Can't click it, as you can see, because, whatever. Okay, so let's just kind of go through the thing here. All right, we got the Bretons, we got the Orcs. You know, they look pretty good. But first, let's change our class. All right, let's change it to something cool, because here's the other thing. Let's back this up. Before we even get to the races, let's talk from the top and talk classes. There are 4 classes in the game, overall classes, like archetypes. That's the Dragon Knight, which acts kind of as a tank. Your Sorcerer, which, you guessed it, slinging spells. Your Nightblade is your rogue, and then your Templar is kind of like your healer. But it's like a battle cleric more than anything. It's not just a healer, because healing doesn't work in this game like other MMOs. It's not like Warcraft where I've got, you know, heal bot in the corner and I just click things, and it doesn't work that way. Healing is more like a AoE kind of, hard to explain. Maybe I'll show you in a future video. But of course my preference is the Nightblade. I always try to play rogues if it's an option. So, you know, that's where the name Unfair came from, you know, rogue. So that's going to be my plan. Definitely not going to be an orc. But the neat thing is even though you choose, this is like a template for a class, the Dragon Knight, the Sorcerer, the Nightblade, etc. As you play the game and as you progress, you only get a set amount of skills to use at any one given time. Like, you can learn a whole bunch of crap and put skill points into a whole bunch of things. But you can mix and match. I mean, you don't have to have any Nightblade skills on your bar by the time you're done. You can have, you know, the Fighters Guild stuff and the Mage Guild stuff on your bars. You can do anything. There's even werewolf and vampire options in the game. We can get more into that later. Let's keep it pretty basic for now, because it's hard for me to explain a lot of these things without a visual, and since I'm so limited, I kind of have to just go with what I can go with here. So, like, we've got the Bretons, you know, the humans, the Orcs, the Redguards, you know, all pretty standard stuff. And then you got your High Elves, you know, nice pointy ears, kind of, you know, kind of nice looking, I guess. And the Wood Elf, a little short, kind of look a little sinister, don't they? Cat people. Argonians, they're kind of neat looking too. You see them wandering around the world, they're pretty neat. Dark Elves. And of course the Nords, which this guy just looks like a tall human. Something else is you're creating, you can actually see what each of these looks like in veteran gear. You can also see them naked if that interests you, but in this particular case, not interested. You can actually see it, you can see and get a preview of what their veteran gear looks like. So once you're level 50 plus and all kitted out, you might look like this, is what it's telling you. So I mean, here's the Dark Elf, and it's all racial, it looks to me. Now, I don't know, as obviously through the beta, haven't been able to get all the way to the end, you know, the end game, and see what those options are, but each one has a very unique armor set. So, I mean, you can see the Argonians, the High Elves look really nice. I just like the way their armor's set up. Same thing with the Wood Elves. I mean, that's just pretty slick looking. It's almost a little too on the glossy side, but, you know, it is what it is. I kind of don't understand this one, though. Cat wearing a cat mask. Whatever. The Redguard is neat. Very clean. Even the Orcs. You know, this is much cleaner armor than you would expect an Orc to have. And then, of course, your typical humans. My personal favorite. But what's neat is, like, we can go back in here, and then you can see the Sorcerer garb. So, I mean, we can quickly cycle through that. You know, the Nightblade. Not very roguish, but still pretty neat. The Templar is sexy. Alright, so let's just quickly do this. We're going to cycle real fast on this one, okay? So this is Sorcerer. Sorcerer for Redguard. Cat people. For Wood Elf. For High Elf. Argonians. Dark Elf looks cool. And then, of course, the Nords. They're just wearing whatever the hell they found laying around the house. Okay, let's go ahead and quickly look at the Nightblade. Of course, the humans, orcs. Yeah, that's kind of neat looking, isn't it? It's cool if you're into that whole spiky thing. High Elves looks neat. I'm not a big fan of that helmet, but... Whoa! That's pretty out there, isn't it? And then, of course, the Nords. Actually, the Nord looks the best. I mean, look at the detail. It's pretty good. One thing that you kind of notice, though, is it looks like armor is painted on their skin. Like, you can see, like, right there at the neckline. It's, I don't know. I mean, it looks really good. It's got real high levels of detail. But, you know, it is what it is. Real quick, we're going to go through the Templar just so you guys can see. Bretons, they're pretty. Orcs. It's just recolored from the Dragon Knight to gold, is what it looks like. Still, nice looking. Very nice looking. Okay, we haven't really looked at females. I'm going to do a very quick run of females just in novice gear so you can kind of see what they look like. Of course, there would be people who would be more interested in this view, but we're going to try and stay non-pixel perverted today and just go with some novice gear. And we're just going to quickly run through the females from each race. You got orcs, red guards, high elves, wood elves, kitties, lizard chicks. Well, the females look pretty good, at least in this configuration. I mean, we could do one of these things and start randomizing appearance, and you can just see, like, we'll randomize just a few of them so you can see some of the options. Character customization options are huge. Like, we're going to actually make a character here in a minute. But, I mean, there are even things in their hair. I mean, there's just all kinds of crazy. You know, there's a billion different options. So, I mean, here, we'll just look at the Argonian just so you get a sense of how unique you can make your character. I mean, there's a lot of options here. I mean, that last one was completely different than anything else we had seen previously. You know, this, I mean, it's pretty cool. You gotta be honest. It's really kind of neat. So, what I'm going to do is let's just assume that I'm going to make the guy that I've always wanted to make. Alright, and we are in fact going to call him Unfair, because I know that that's available at the moment. Alright, look at this. He's kind of a portly fellow. He's a little on the large side, but check this out. We got sliders of all kinds. We can go every which way. We can make him a little on the heavy, you know, a fat rogue is kind of weird, but, you know, we can make him all super buff and, you know, we can make him like all scrawny and, let's see, there we go. I mean, super, super skinny. I mean, look at that. It's like his head is twice as big as his body. It's kind of funny. And then you've got things, I mean, you've got your height adjustment, but let's just go middle of the road, standard fella. A little bit taller to emulate the guy behind the keyboard. You know, skin color goes from the brightest of bright to the stayed out in the sun a little too long. And let's see, you've got some body markings. I mean, there's all variations. You can kind of see, I think we have to go no gear for this. But you can kind of see, I mean, you can tat him up all over the place. You know, so you got some cool options. I usually go with nothing in terms of that. Upper body, I mean, you can slide every little thing. So you want torso size, chest size, gut size, weight, you know, waist, arm, hand. Lower body, I mean, you can give him huge feet if you want. Actually, his feet look like they need to be a little bit bigger than what we've got going on there because they look a little small. You know, you can make his legs bigger. And you can do all sorts of stuff. But then the fun part is once you get to the face. Alright, take a look at, I mean, you can go heroic, which apparently is just fat face. I'm not entirely sure how that works out. But, you know, then there's the soft. So we're going to go, you know, and then angular, you know, chiseled and whatever. So we're going to kind of go middle of the road, but a little more towards the chiseled old man. Now you've got some voice options. You know, kind of weird. A, B, C, D. Okay, we might just go with D, because that's about how I feel right now. Alright, and then you've got your hairstyles. You know, glorious, glorious hairstyles. Okay, no hair. Messy hair, pull back, long hair. Yeah, you can have the mohawk. Looks okay from the front. Totally loses it in the sides and back, though. Some of the hair options, not that spectacular. Gotta be honest. But I guess it's more grounded in reality. Oh, yeah, look at that. I guess it's more grounded in reality of what hair would be like, I suppose. Yikes. Boy, there is not one single thing of hair that I have found acceptable here, other than, there it is. That's what we're going with. Hair color, we're going dark. Alright, so then you've got, I mean, you can go like bright red, but I mean, who would do that? And you can set their age. I mean, you can go super young, super old. Somewhere right around the middle is usually good. I mean, then there's adornments. Now, the adornments are actually your facial hair, along with other things. So, that'll work. That looks alright. What do you think? I think we should totally give the dude some hair. You know what? Let's just go with this one. Even though it looks terrible, it's kind of roguish, right? The dashing rogue. Let's maybe cut his age back just a little bit. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. So then you got your head markings. And they're just all kinds of goofy stuff. Now that I think about it, isn't there a thing for an eye patch? Where was that? Hey, it's nice that they included the emo skin there. Alright. There's the eye patch. I zipped over it. Okay. How do we get back to it? I want that eye patch. Might have to go slow on this one. There's some pretty screwed up mustaches. There we go. Look at that. I'm actually liking that. Now check this out. We can take this one step further then. There we go. We'll give him a scar over the eye. What do you think? I like it. I like it a lot. Now he's looking good. This is actually more time than I've ever spent on this before, guys, so bear with me while I'm even learning about some options here. This is pretty fantastic. Actually, the rest of this looks pretty good. I'm alright with his face. We could change his eye color, so let's go dark eyes. All these eye sliders and nose and... yeah, let's see. Alright, let's fix his nose a little bit. That's better. I mean, you could change the ears, you could change everything. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and at this point, I would hit create and we would be taken into, bam, the Wailing Prison, which is where, in typical Elder Scrolls fashion, your journey begins. You're a prisoner, you must escape, lots going on, and then your adventure unfolds from there. I'm really only going to show you one thing. We'll get into more gameplay stuff in the future, but for now, here's my fella. Cool thing, you could play it completely first person or completely third person over the shoulder a little bit. Attacks are, you know, left mouse click, and then you'll get a action bar later on down the line. Everything is targeted, so there isn't like tab targeting or anything like that. You have to aim where that little crosshairs is and, you know, get after your target. So that's it. There's tons I wish I could show you, but still a little bit, have to be a little bit patient. If you have any specific questions, be sure to let me know in the comments or stop by our forums. There's going to be some information in the description. Join us there for some discussion. And I leave you with this, a horse on a roof. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.